This video took over 7 hours and I honestly barely got anything done, but I think it was really worth it. So in today's video, we are going to be recreating the prison, building it bigger, better, more modern here, because if you didn't know, the ERC prison hasn't ever been updated. So I created an ERC building in Roblox Studio nearly a year ago, and haven't done one of these videos since, but I think my building skills have maybe improved a bit. So anyways, let's get started with this video and see how it goes. So first things first, I sat in the game for 20 minutes straight looking at the building, figuring out, how I'm gonna recreate this and having a look at the dimensions and all this sort of stuff. And once I had figured out all of the dimensions here, I headed into Roblox Studio here, and then we got started on creating the build. Quick spoiler, I do not actually finish the whole thing in this video here, so make sure to subscribe to my channel to get notified when the second part comes out, maybe a couple days time from when this first releases. So let's start off this wonderful build prison video here by putting a random road in the middle of nowhere, and why not, let's just put a Bearcat on top of it. Well, I put a Bearcat on top just so, we have a rough measurement of, the road sizes, because a Bearcat is one of the biggest vehicles that ERC has on the road, so if a Bearcat can fit on the road, pretty much all the other cars can. We're now going to do some lovely terrain work here. First of all, it's going to start off with being the summer, and now it's going to change to the winter, so that's lovely as well. But anyways, getting this in a nice wintry theme fits to ERC nicely there, and we're already half an hour into my work here. We're now actually going to start on the roads, and then we're going to actually move on to the actual building. The building is one of the last things I actually do in this, but anyways, as you can see here, we've got some nice roads going down here. I'm trying to make them as kind of, matching to ERC as possible here. So I've taken some precise measurements from ERC. Now, of course, the ERC roads are actually decals on top of bricks, but for the sake of not spending another hour making decals just for a road that is there for the sake of being there, I think I was good just staying with what I had for the moment there. Anyways, you can see we get started on the building. Now I'm trying to make the building kind of to scale of ERC's building. Now it ends up being a lot bigger than ERC's building, and I did actually realize that halfway through, and then regretted my decision of how I actually sized it, and then didn't want to change it because then I'd have to pretty much lose 7 hours of work. So we're gonna keep it as big as possible here. The building is going to be pretty similar, however I've made a couple of changes, let's just say. Now on the side, as you can see, the building's been set back a bit from the road here, and on the side we're going to put a access door, and this is for where the prisoners can be either taken in to be put into the building, or taken out to be transported out. So that's something I kind of thought would be really good for role plays, and something we could implement into this here. So I don't know, I think it could be pretty cool. As you can see, there's a small service road that goes up the side there, surrounded by a fence that is just high enough that no one can jump over it. One of the only things in here that is free, except for the lovely bright pink car and my very lovely quote-unquote River City Bearcat, is these fence decals. Now, I would have gone and made my own, but honestly, I didn't think that it was necessary technically here. I will probably change them later on in the build here, probably in the next day or so when I actually have time to make these fence decals here, but for the moment I think it's just fine. Anyways, as we move on here, there's some definitely things that I want to keep similar about the builds. As you can see here, we are nearly 3 hours into the build here, and we've got the doors, the similar doors to ERC. Now, I'm not copying. For the people who wonder, am I copying? No, I'm just because I'm not actually going to use this for my own game or sell this on here. If ERC want to have this or commission me to, build this as a prison or build this properly for ERC, go ahead, Liberty County developers. But I'm not selling this to anyone else, so I'm technically not stealing. So anyways, we're building the doors here quite similar. We've got a new computer. So if in ERC, all of the computers look like they were back from 1980s. I'm not sure why this is. There's probably a meaning behind this, or maybe that's just how they were made and they haven't changed them since. But you can see I've made a lovely flat screen monitor here, and yes, I have copied the keyboard and mouse out of ERC. I've remade it a bit to my own version, but I think it looks pretty nice and tidy there. And we're just making the desk, which is where the police can bring in or out the prisoners and load them into the vans there to be transported. 2-story sort of type desk here, and the reason why I'm creating it like this is because if you have a look in the police department, I'm kind of copying the police department desk here because I think it's a pretty nice design, and also these sort of things here make this prison look a lot more like ERC. Okay, this is definitely a drift car, I can say that here, because Wow, this is, oh, well, there goes my car. So one thing that ERC doesn't have in their prison, which they do actually have at the DOT station, which I kind of like at the prison here, is a kind of like a fence area around it. Now it'd be pretty cool if I could have added a gate. I didn't, just because I'd need to script it, then put a button somewhere, then put like, you know, make a GUI to make it fit all in with ERC, which I may do later on here, but I think for the moment here we can just leave it open. But anyways, we've got a nice fence around the area here, and we've also got some signs around just kind of saying where things are going here. The chair I'm building now is the ERC chair that's around the map. You can find it in pretty much all of the buildings there. I really like it. It's a very nice iconic chair. It always reminds me of ERC because that chair, those chair designs have never changed in ERC, I don't think. So this is a room where they can hold the criminals there. There can be someone watching from behind the glass on their computer until the people who are transporting the prisoners are ready to actually transport them. And you can see there's a bar around the outside where they can actually handcuff the prisoners to the wall. So, you know, some pretty small details, but I think I'm a big fan of those anyways. So as you can see here, we're now just building the hallway that is going to go towards the viewing room. I think that's what you call it. Basically where visitors can view prisoners there. There's going to be a corridor that goes past there and then all the way to the cell block. So I am now building the viewing room. I think that's what you call it. Visitor room, something like that. Basically, visitors can come in through one side. There's a big wall and glass in the middle so that, you know, they can't break out of prison easily. And then the prisoners come in on the other side, they can talk to each other, you know what I mean. Anyways, so here we are. It's not that big just because, you know, hopefully we don't have too many prisoners in this prison. Hopefully the city's pretty safe. So if you've ever watched a movie where they go and visit someone in prison or anything, then it's kind of just a generic visitor room here. I'm just building it off of past experiences, you know, not being to prison but watching movies and stuff. So that's how that is. It's kind of a pretty basic room here. I've added a couple of decorations later in the room to make it a bit more interesting, to spice it up a bit. But as you can see, pretty small room, just so people can come and visit each other there. I didn't talk about this earlier, but I changed the colors. So in kind of the visitor area, the walls are going to be a nice yellow color to make it a bit more brighter and more welcoming. And not that you'd want to go to jail, but you know, anyways. And in kind of like the cell blocks, which I will build in the next episode in a day or so, that will be kind of a grayish color, the same color that the building is on the outside, just to give a kind of a more contrasting of colors and a bit more interesting range. Anyways, I've gone off on a rant and I don't know what I'm saying, but here we go, on to the next thing. So we're on to the next beautiful part of this prison here, the security cameras. One of the most important parts of security in a prison. Now, they're very generic, basic security cameras. It's just the ones with like circle domes and then the cameras hidden inside of them there, just because I don't really want to spend another 20 minutes building some CCTV cameras, but I think they fit in pretty well with the prison. I think they actually don't look too bad here. We're now going to build the front office desk. So this is like the desk at the front, some cabinet units at the back there. It's the same desk that was at the prisoner room, or the transport room there, but I think it doesn't really matter. I've just added another computer in there as well and another chair, so we can have two people manning the front basically there, and that's where people can come in. They can book in and you know, go and visit some prisoners. Now we're nearing up the end of this here. I don't actually get too much more done after this. I just fiddle around a bit more with the walls and then add some random assets on the outside of the building, like a small roll-up door for some weird reason that leads to nowhere. But basically that is the end of today's video. Now I've got a very, very exciting second part to this coming up, which I've already started working on, and from the time of uploading this video should be out within 2 days. So make sure you subscribe with notifications on to look at that there. It's going to be very, very exciting here, and hopefully going to go ahead and get the ERC developers involved, see what their opinions are on this, and if they agree to, I'll see if I can tour them around my prison here, and you can see what they think of it. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video here. 7 hours of building, maybe a bit less than that. Yeah, I think a bit less than that. Anyways, I hope you did enjoy this video nonetheless there. If you did, please do consider subscribing. It will help out the channel a lot. Stay up to date with more videos here, and if you did like this video, let me know in the comments what else you'd like to see added to this prison, and what other buildings you'd like me to build or remake inside of Roblox Studio, because I've kind of enjoyed this video, honestly. It's been really fun to get away from, you know, just my normal roleplays. So let me know in the comments below what other builds you'd like to see in the future. Anyways, big thanks to the ERC developers and YouTubers there. They gave me a bit of feedback on the first part of this, so I'll hopefully be touring them around the prison in the next next video, which you should see very soon. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.